Hi everyone, it's Tess from teachwithtess.com and I'm here today to talk to you about demo classes at Wales English from my garden. As you know, on my channel you find lots of information for teachers who want to join Wales English, who are already working for Wales English, but also who are teachers in ESL and just want some general advice and tips for all the candidates I've helped for their application and then ultimately their interview. The demo class is of course super important. Now I'm going to be including snaps of me teaching this in the video, so you'll be able to see some of the things I do. Now what's important is once you've got through the application process and you'll have passed screening, because you then receive that wonderful email saying yes, we'd love to invite you to interview, then the panic kicks in and you're going, oh my god, I'm really nervous, what do I do? So all my referrals I coach through this process and I have a Zoom coaching session with them. So what I've done so far is, I've always encouraged my referrals to prep their lesson. You have 10 minutes for this demo class, so you prep your lesson really carefully. Really be energetic. You have no idea, well you will do if you already teach online, but if you don't, you may not realise just how important high energy or good energy is on screen, because it gets diluted quite a lot. So you may feel like you look completely ridiculous, which I think my neighbours who can see me teaching through the window, they did ask me what I was doing as I was doing all this stuff with my lower learners. But, really, really important to bring loads of energy. Please smile. It's amazing how many people don't actually smile, and because they're nervous, and that's really important. You're engaging with a young person, a child, so look friendly, approachable, be warm in all of the teaching you're doing. So that, I think, is the overview of what is important in that demo class. As I said, I'm going to bring in some bit more detail now of me actually giving some advice, and I'll show you how I teach some of that. So I'm going to stop here and say enjoy the next bit, and I'll see you in a sec. Hi everyone, I'm back again now to talk to you more specifically about the demo class that you're going to be teaching for your interview for Wales English. Now, first of all, you will have received a pack of information from Wales English all about your interview and what's expected. So you have that Q&A session with them first, which lasts about 15-20 minutes. In that time, they will be asking you a little bit about why you want to work with Wales, your motivations. They want to know more about you. So I really suggest that you think about the sort of reasons that you have applied for Wales and have some good answers ready. Don't say that you want to teach in pajamas or travel around the world and this is a way of doing it. Think far more, and I'm sure you wouldn't, but think far more about the fact that you love teaching kids, that teaching online gives is potentially the new way of teaching, that Wales English suits your ethos, or you've done research into online companies and Wales was the one that stood out. Whatever your reason is, make sure it's something more along those lines that will make them confident that you are a good fit for them. The other thing, you will be, when you do your demo class, because this is of course what I'm going to be walking us through today. Now, the demo class can be very terrifying for a lot of people. I know it certainly was for me. And you think, am I going to do the right thing? What do they want? Do I understand the slides? Because the slides are fairly bare. So you could think, ooh, I don't know what to do. So the idea of this video, this part of the video, is just to walk through what I would do with a few suggestions. Obviously, I can't share the slides because they belong to Wales, but I can tell you the sort of things I suggest doing, suggest only, for the different slides and what I would use. Now, first of all, remember, in the interview, they are looking for professional people with a good attitude. So when you're teaching, when you're speaking, be full of energy, be smiley. It's amazing how a big smile can really impact people. When you're teaching, make sure that you are giving clear and concise information. That's really important. Try not to waffle. So the student, teacher, interviewer, is playing a student, but it's an adult that you'll be interviewed by. So make sure that they can understand your instructions. That's really important. Make sure that you're using really great TPR, because that is something they value very highly. So, be consistent with it. If you come up with a certain gesture for one of the words that you'll be using, then make sure you use it every time, and make sure that you get the interviewer to copy your TPR when it is relevant, because that's what TPR is. It's not just all about you doing actions, but it's to get them to do the action too. So for instance, celebrate, the word celebrate, and they repeat it, and you can be doing this. If that's your celebrate TPR, you get them to do this too. So that's really important. Remember to try and keep teacher talk time lower than the student talk. Normally it's about like this. So do that by asking questions to relate the content you're teaching back to their life. That's really important, and something Wales always asks in our classes to do, because people learn much better when they can relate it to themselves. It's fairly obvious. And then, as I said, generate some questions. That's always a good idea. So that's the sort of thing that they are looking for. Now, the other thing to remember is that before you teach, to tell them the type of student they are playing. Now, you'll have seen in the slides you received that you're given a sort of vague guideline of the age and the ability of the student. I suggest saying something super simple like you're a 6-year-old with basic reading skills, and that's heaps. That will cover quite a lot. So let's think. Now, I tend to, as I said, I have my little prop. I would recommend a little prop. Now, this is Monkey. Hi. So Monkey comes out quite a lot in my lessons. The kids like him. Some for the younger learners more so than older learners. But, if you're teaching a 6-year-old and it's the first lesson, sometimes they just love to see an animal, something different. They'll talk to the animal maybe more so than you. So when you start your lesson, you can remember to introduce yourself and ask for the interviewer's name, because although they're an interviewer, they are also the students. So you could say, "Hi, what's your name?" Good. "Hi, Johnny. Hi. My name is Teacher Tess." Teacher Tess. Can you say hi, Tess? Hi, Tess. Great. Thank you. That's great. Look, who is this? Oh, Monkey. Hello, Johnny. Hello. Hello. So, that's all you really need to do potentially with a prop like Monkey, but just to show them that you have one is a really nice thing to do. Now, what else I would say before I kick off going through these slides is, during all the slides you need to show the interviewer that you can annotate. Now, you're using Zoom. You'll only ever use Zoom for the interview, because Wales English have their own teaching platform, so you won't ever have to do it again for them, but just make sure you can use it confidently for the interview. Know how to annotate, make sure you can screen share with no issue. That's super important. Another thing I'd say to the interviewer before you start teaching is that you are aware that Wales English tends to have a 1 teacher to 2 student ratio, and that in a class with 2 students, you would ensure that you introduced activities that meant that students engaged with each other. So now what I'm going to do is to start with slide 1. Now, slide 1 is a phonics slide. It introduces the big question, which is, what do families do? So start off by introducing what we will be doing today. And I would set a really simple objective. So something like, today we will talk about what families do together. Okay, so it can be as simple as that. Then you say, oh, annotate, what are we talking about today? And you can underline my family. and they will say, my family. Good. So what do you see in the picture? This gives them the possibility to use vocabulary they know, and you can assess their level of English and how much also the interviewer is prepared to give. So you have 4 phonic words. So when they've sort of said, oh, I can see dad and I can see mum, etc., I would then underline the highlighted letters and get them to repeat those. So what does the girl do? She's clapping. So I'd say clap, 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 clap. And you get them to go clap, 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 something like that. So you are spending a short time on each of these. Don't go diving deep into phonics. You have 2 minutes for each slide, so you simply don't have the time. But it's more to make the interviewer aware of what you would do in a phonics situation, and they often do these word blendings. So you know, so or if you chose to, you could do the plain, and then get them to read all the phonic words. Then when you've done that, you can dive into the second slide. So remember, transition is a nice thing to do. So let's see what families do together. Okay, let's go. Then you move down to the next slide, and you will see at the bottom of the slide something called TG. The teacher guidance is something that Wales has all the way through all its slides anyway, for us regular teachers in the material they prepare. So make sure you read it, because it gives you an idea of what Wales is actually looking for and the sort of thing that they would expect you to do to teach those slides. Now, you don't have to take it to the letter, but it does give you a bit of advice. So the second slide, you've got these 2 pictures and 1 sentence. So what I would do, because it does say in the teacher guidance to model reading and then get the student to read that, but mainly for the intonation and phrasing, because they can read. So I would say something like, families help each other, and you get them to repeat. So families help each other. Great job. That was a beautiful sentence. Well read. Remember, when you've praised, to give specific praise. Don't just say, yeah, fantastic, great job. Doesn't really tell them what they've done well. So another thing Wales likes, if you give praise, say, that was fantastic pronunciation, Johnny. Well done, great, etc. I would also annotate by circling or using the block thing each picture, and then ask the interviewer about that. So what do you see in the picture? They'll say mum, boy, mum, son or brother, or whatever word they choose. How does mum help? Look. And they may come up with homework. Now, if they just say one word like that, homework, try and get them to say a sentence, because that's really important. You don't just want one word answers. Ensure that they're making full sentence. So mum helps with homework, or something like that, or the boy does homework, whatever sentence you come up with, but make sure that it is a full sentence. The second picture's a bit of a funny one. They are raking leaves. Now, I don't think a 6-year-old will know the word rake, but you could say something like, the boy helps his dad in the garden, or when you ask the question, what can you see in this picture? Annotate. They will say, boy, dad. So, just keep it fairly simple, a full sentence. The boy helps in the yard, and you can do the action of raking or something like that. Remember, as I said earlier, connect back to the family or their own family. How do you help your family? And see what they say. Right, let's do the third slide. So, the transition from the previous one. Let's see, how do families celebrate together? Now, celebrate's a word that can maybe be slightly harder to pronounce. So you could always annotate, underline it, say celebrate, and get the the child to read it. I would also encourage them to try and read that sentence, because you model the one before, see if they can read it. If the interviewer makes a mistake, repeat the sentence in full and get them to repeat it. Make sure the pronunciation and the phrasing is right. Look at the pictures. What do you see in the pictures? Now, one of them, you've got families celebrate birthdays. So families celebrate birthdays, and they have a picture of a chocolate cake there. You know, they're blowing out candles. So that would be a great moment to potentially bring in external content, which is something they like. So this could be either a short video, and remember, you have 2 minutes per slider. You have a 10-minute demo class, so keep it very short. Or you could potentially bring in a picture of a birthday cake, or you could have a picture of you and your family celebrating a birthday, just something to show the interviewer that you know how to bring in relevant external content, and then get them to talk about it. You know, oh, look, this is me. How do you celebrate your birthday? And get them, again, link it to their lives. So that's how I would teach that one. And then you can move on to the 4th slide and say, let's see, what do families do together? You move on, because of course that is our big question, our objective. Families play together, and then get them to read it. What can you see in the picture? Annotate. You know, if they struggle to name things, you can lead them in. Remember, if they give one-word answers, to give nice full sentences. Encourage full sentences. This is something I use all the time, this gesture, TPR. They know, my kids, when I do this, that I want a full sentence. Families laugh. Now, laugh can be quite a hard word too, so laugh, ha 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 ha. Get them to reciprocate. Wait for encourage the kid to reciprocate the laugh, you know, ha 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 ha. Because two-way thing, TPR, is not just a teacher doing it, it's a student mimicking. So you can get them to do that. And again, you know, ask questions, you know, do you laugh, ha ha ha, with your family? Ask some questions like that. And then we get to the final slide, the 5th slide. So we should be 8 minutes in if you're bang on with your timing when you start this slide now, or the final slide. You will see there are 4 photographs, the one we've seen in the lesson, and then there's this small sort of little map with circles on it, and in the middle, what families do together, which was the sort of everything that this lesson has been wrapped around. So let's recap. So what do families do together? And you can annotate by circling each picture and eliciting the sentence. So families help each other. That was the wrong TPR, wasn't it? Families help each other. You know, families laugh together, etc. So when the student says the right word, write it down, type it into the circle, and then when you've gone through all 4 pictures, you will see also that there is a sentence frame, I learned that. So obviously you've got to get them to say a sentence that says something like, I learned that families laugh together, ha ha ha. So that's what you're trying to get them to produce at the end. So I would do that for each of the photographs, and then you know, ask them, so what have you learned? I learned that, and see which one they come up with on their own at the end. So that's the 5 slides. Remember, you have 10 minutes to do this. You really have to be bang on with your timing, otherwise you'll get cut short. But most of all, enjoy yourself, be yourself, you know, allow your personality to come through when you teach. It's really important. You know, super energy, because energy gets squashed online very easily. So be really energetic, be confident, know your stuff, practice, practice, practice. You know, get a friend who's got Zoom or something so you can practice annotating, find nice content, use your props. And one thing I did forget to say is, for the very first slide with the phonics slide, you know, if you have a printer, access to printer, or you have some magazines, you can cut out photographs of a plane, the colour blue, flowers or things like that. So don't be frightened to use props like that. If you want to use a secondary reward system, you can. They have their own on the Wales English platform. But you know, if you're used to using a secondary reward system, or you'd like to, fine. But it's not essential. But you know, to have some form of a reward is nice. You know, I've got potato head up there, which you can build the eyes and nose and things like that. But remember to congratulate them, to say well done. Make sure you give praise that is focused and not just yay, great. And make sure they're speaking in full sentences as much as possible. And then last of all, when you're preparing your lesson, make sure that you do go through all the different criteria that they've sent with these slides as to what they look for in a good lesson, because you need to try and hit every single one of those. And then all that's left for me to say is just good luck. I'm rooting for you. I'm crossing my fingers and I'm crossing my toes. And I really hope you get through your demo class. If you haven't yet applied and you're just informing yourself about Wales English, please use my referral link if you'd like to apply, because I coach my referrals via Zoom through these slides before they go into their interview. I always suggest that you send me your CV first, so I can look through it, but I am more than happy to help. So please get in contact. Please like my video if it was useful, and do subscribe so you get notified when my videos are uploaded. And I really wish you the best of luck for your interview. Thanks, and see you next time. Bye. So there you have it. I hope that's been useful. Crossing fingers and toes. Can't see my toes, but I'm crossing fingers and toes for you if you have your demo class coming up. You'll absolutely ace it, I'm sure. If you have any questions, just email me, teachwithtess@gmail.com, and I really, really wish you luck. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon. Bye.